Hello, and welcome to the premiere episode of Esma's Beginnings Graduation Day. I'm Mike, your DM for the night. And when she gets back, I'm here with
Tina.
Aurora DeMessa. Tina, who you will recognize from Sunday night. This is a spin-off for that character.
I think of it more of a.
It takes place actually before she meets the Fallen Dragon group on Sunday night. This is more of her, how she got to where she is and the convoluted things in her background. So it should be very twisted and very interesting.
Hopefully.
Tina, is there anything you want to tell the people about your side of this?
So how far back do you want me to go, or not at all? I mean, I don't know how much you want to disclose. What if they find out as we play?
It's more fun if we actually find out while we play it through.
I guess we could just go over where she starts. Do you want?
Well, the scene opens with you in a large ballroom on the island of Onan in the city of Lern. Onan is an island off the coast of Gelborn. And this particular island specializes in the training of thieves, rogues, and assassins of all types.
Cool.
And as I said earlier, today is your graduation day. You have been on the island for 2 years training.
And also, Esma, did we decide that she's 16? That's what we decided, right? She's 16 at the time?
She was 16 when she started training, yes.
So she's 18 now.
She's 18, yes.
Which is not, just so everyone knows, is not a time discrepancy with Fallen Dragons. It may not be truthful, the age she gave everyone in Fallen Dragons. Just for clarification, it's not a messed up time warp type thing.
Well,
as far as I know.
you have trained as a rogue, so lying to people is not an issue for you.
What?
You are standing in the middle of this large ballroom in the Thieves' School on the main square in Lern, waiting for the instructors of the school to appear so your graduation ceremony can start, so it can then end and you can get out of there. And there, I'd say in this class, there's probably 2 dozen people other than yourself. And by the end of your training, you are 3rd level and therefore have picked, for lack of better term, assassin as your major.
So true.
So,
Which means Esma's not
as
a 3rd level in Fallen Dragons.
well, fallen dragons are all 3rd level. You just got there differently.
Yeah, well, I am
Um,
a 3rd level bard in Fallen Dragons.
but you're standing around chatting with the other people in the room. Um, you're all starting to get a little antsy because you've been standing there for close to an hour now and the instructors haven't shown up yet.
So is Esma getting a little worried, Mike, or is she all cool and relaxed? Because I think Esma would be getting a little worried, a little antsy.
You're all getting a little worried because you don't understand after an hour's time why the instructors wouldn't have walked into the room yet.
So true.
So
But Esma's
you,
not showing her worry.
you start you start to hear people mumbling about, various guesses on what's going on. And I'd say after about 15 minutes or so of that, you, the instructors walk in as a group. Uh, led in by the headmaster of the entire school. And he says, "Sorry for the delay. You will get your diplomas today, but we're going to have to cut the actual ceremony short. And we have arranged pre selected assignments for all of you for your first job now that you've graduated. Um, we will be handing those out at the end of the ceremony after you have your diplomas. And so it takes about maybe half an hour for them to hand all of you your diplomas. There's no speeches, you know, very little pomp and circumstance and formality, um, which is a little odd for a graduation ceremony because you went to the graduation ceremony for the class last year, and with all the fuss and bother, it took close to 2 hours. So you're really starting to wonder what's going on here. So you get your diploma and you walk off stage. What are you doing now?
So I got my diploma and I also got my what my assignment is, right, Mike? Or did I not get my assignment yet?
You haven't you haven't got your assignment yet.
Okay.
You did get your diploma though.
Alright. Esma looks at it and then she lights it on fire because she doesn't want anything, to show that she graduated. So she's happy she
Okay.
graduated, but she doesn't want any documentation or proof. So she burns it.
So now you're standing there holding a pile of ash in your hand.
Yes, she is. She likes the feel of fire.
And a couple of the other students look over at you and are like, "You've got to be kidding. What in the world did you do that for?"
Well, Esma doesn't carry anything. You know, she doesn't want any documentation of who she is or anything like that. The only thing she has is her mother's necklace. But other than that, she keeps nothing of her past with her. She's been taught well by her adoptive father not to share anything or keep anything.
So as you finish doing that and you're looking for a place to throw the ash away, you feel a presence behind you.
Esma doesn't like having a feeling of presence behind her, so she glides so that it's not like she's, you know, running away or she's scared, but she slowly glides so that whoever's behind her is no longer behind her. She wants to be able to
Are
see at all
you
times who's. She doesn't trust
so are
anyone.
you so are you turning around to face this feeling or are you
Yes, but she's not doing it where it's visible. She's doing it as a slow build because she doesn't want, you know.
so so you're putting some distance between you and then you're turning around to see who it is.
Yes.
Okay. It happens to be um, your assassination instructor,
What does he look like?
which um, he's actually in human form right now. He's a you know that he's a genie.
Okay.
Um, but he's in human form. He's wearing human clothing. Um, fact, he looks surprisingly human because you know that genies can take whatever form they wish. Um, but he's still, but as he's standing there, you notice that his boots are about 3 to 4 inches off the ground. So that's why he didn't make any noise when he came up behind you.
Esma wants.
He's just
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
he's just sort of he's just sort of hovering in front of you at this point.
So Esma smiles, or wants to smile, but she won't smile because she doesn't smile. She just looks at him and no expression on her face, and she waits for him to say anything. She doesn't want to make the first move.
Um, he looks at her and says, "Well, the burning your diploma move was kind of odd. I can understand it, but generally students don't do that." Um, and two, it was a good reaction you had when I came up behind you. Most people would have attempted to immediately turn around and counterattack. So,
Esma stares at him stoningly, waiting for him to make the first move. She does give a little smile at the compliment, but that's the only sign showing from her reaction that she's even reacting.
um, at this point, he holds out um, well, looks like a folded piece of parchment. And there's a seal on it, which you have not seen before. It's not the school seal or any official thing you've ever seen. Um, so what do you do?
She goes and lifts her hand to grab the seal. Or did she already, she's already holding it, or he's just holding it out?
He basically handed it to you.
Okay. So Esma puts it away because she doesn't want to open it in front of anyone. She will never open secret stuff in front of anyone. She puts it away so she could look at it later. And then she tells him,
Okay.
thank you for the opportunity." And then that's the only form of excitement and glee that she is showing to him.
He right before he turns to walk away, he says, "You will find in the letter a way to contact me. Um, this is a private matter and has nothing to do with the school."
Esma gives
So,
a little bit of a smile at that, and a twinkle of her eyes because she respects the instructor. He taught her well, but other than that, she doesn't show any reaction.
he says, uh, "I picked you for this because one, your grades were far and away better than most of the other students. and two, um, and he'll lean in closer at this point so as to not have anybody else here. He says, once you read the letter, you'll find out that this assignment has a personal connection to your family.
Esma slightly frowns at that because she has not really spoken about her family to anyone. So it's odd that he would know, and she doesn't like that he knows. But she also figures that he's the instructor, so he has ways of getting information. But she still doesn't like it.
And upon seeing your reaction, he's like, yes, I've been doing this a lot longer than you have, and I know everything about you.
And then her twinkle in her eye disappears, but that's the only sign of her displeasure in this.
He says, frankly, on the second day you were here, I knew everything about you. We vet all of our students when they come in. We
Esma,
don't want any little nasty surprises.
Esma grumbles a little bit in in her mind, but does not show any emotion on her face.
With that, he says, contact me if necessary. Definitely contact me when this is over if to let me know if you are successful or not. And with that, he turns around and glides back to where the other instructors are. So what do you do?
So Esma does not party. She thinks it's frivolous and stupid to have fun. So she goes to her room so she could look at the note and then also decide of what to do next. So she goes upstairs. She goes to her room. She thinks interaction with people is stupid.
So So you go back to your room, you plop down on your bed, and you break the seal on the note and begin to read it. And it says, Esma, you have known since you got here that you were one of our better students. But we have also known about you. We know you have royal connections that nobody else knows about. One of those royal connections has been a bother to me on several occasions. And we also found out that this person has been somewhat of a bother to you on one occasion in particular. Your first assignment as a freelance assassin, having graduated, is to take out your mother's new husband, shall we call him?
Esma smiles at this because she wanted an excuse to kill him for many years, and this seems like it's a good enough reason to do so. Even though she is slightly nervous, being that he is, the king, but or at least the consort of the queen, but she wants him dead,
Yeah.
so she's happy about it.
What? How does it make you feel that your instructor knows all this
She doesn't
and
like it.
never mentioned it before now?
She doesn't like it at all, but she also thinks that maybe her
And
adoptive father told him because only the adoptive father would have known, um, has no, only knows about her royal connection besides, the people who raised her. So the only thing she can think of is that her adoptive father must have told him, and so then that makes her trust him a little bit more, or that he's shady, and that he found things that he, even her adoptive father hid well, which also makes her a little bit more nods towards him, like, okay, you're really good at this. Or, so she's conflicted. She respects him more for it, but at the same time, she doesn't like it at all.
um, at the bottom of the note, he says, if you go downstairs, um, into the kitchen and ask the cook for, for a specific um, bag that has my name on it, you will find a package in that bag for you.
Esma smiles at this and goes and follows what he suggested right away. But before she does that, she burns the note because she doesn't want any. Hold on, Mike. I gotta handle this real quick.
Uh,
Guess who's? Five guesses of who is being naughty, but you'll just need one.
I was about to say, and at that point, your arch nemesis appears, trying to thwart your activity before it even starts.
Of course, he doesn't like Esma.
The question is, are you going to let him succeed?
No, no, Esma's not gonna let him succeed.
he, he's apparently working for the Queen's consort, and he's found you already.
Yes.
So,
So in
uh,
trouble am I.
uh, not off to a great start after graduation.
I know.
um, so you go into the kitchen, um, ask the cook for the bag as your instructor told you. He hands you a bag with your instructor's name on it. What do you do with the bag as you walk out of the kitchen?
Um, Esma grabs the bag, and again, she does not look at things if she can help it in front of people, because she never knows if it's, just for her eyes. Even though he did give it to the cook, so there's some trust there. Esma doesn't trust very. Esma barely trusts people, so she has learned at a young age that people are not to be trusted.
So do you take it back to
She goes
your
to
room?
Yes, she goes back to her room to look at it.
Okay. You get back to your room and put the bag on the bed and sit down next to it and start digging through it. There's a disguise kit, which is more extensive than the one that they gave you at school to practice with. Um, there's a cold weather cloak in it, which, being on the island for the last 2 years, you have never needed such a thing. And at the bottom, there's a packet tied with string with a note attached to it. If you pick up and read the note, it says, "This bag should contain everything you will need to get started." And do you break the string and unwrap the package?
Yes, she does, because she trusts her room. She trusts that her room is safe, so she does. She opens the package.
It's a small pouch, and if you open the pouch, there must there's 100 gold in that pouch.
Yay! Esma has money.
At the bottom of the note, it says, "This money should be enough for any other supplies you might need. If you are able to accomplish the job, when you come back to me, I will personally give you but nobody is to know anything about this.
Esma nods her
Because
head.
if they did, we, we would both be in serious danger."
Esma nods her head in agreement.
Hmm.
And again, of course, like always, she brings the note. She's a serious pyro. She learns a lot of
You're
things.
collecting a pile of ash. It's like
Yeah.
all they have all they have to do is follow the ash trail you're leaving.
Exactly. That's all you have is ashes. That's
Um,
Esma for you.
yeah.
Ashes and death is what leaves behind her.
But you also know that you're probably gonna need help and you probably can't do this on your own.
Yes, Esma will trust people up to a point, but she does not put her trust in people if she can help it. The only people she trusts is her adopted father and his brothers. Other than that, she trusts no one.
And you probably think it's a good idea since you don't have them to find a cleric
Yes.
help you in case you need to heal along the way. So,
She does want a cleric, but she doesn't
how
want.
are you?
Oh, she wants a cleric, but she doesn't want a goody two shoe cleric. She wants one that's a little bit on the shade of gray, like she is.
So, how are you going to go about recruiting this person?
um, hmm. I'm not sure. Um, is there a temple that deals with clerics that are in the shade of gray that she would be interested in going to? Or is there a known spot that they usually hang out?
Well, well, where is a fairly large city? There is a temple or two. There's the main bar where all the main tavern where all the students used to go after classes were over. You could always look for notices there or put a
I,
notice there.
I think she doesn't want to put a notice. She'd rather look. But she'll go to the bar to check it out. And she wants a drink too. At least celebrate, even if it's just with herself, that she graduated. Even if she doesn't realize that she wants to celebrate, she does
You
kind
could
of.
always talk to the bartender and see what see if they have any info for you.
I think
Um,
Esma would like to do that. I think because the bartender is, usually gets a piece of information, is a good source of information. So she'll do that.
and it is approaching lunchtime, and since the graduation ceremony was cut short, you didn't get the normal banquet that they usually connect with these things. So going and getting lunch would not be a bad idea at this point.
Exactly. Esma wants to get lunch, have a beer to celebrate, and then also get started on her mission because she has been wanting this guy dead for as long as she could remember. In her mind, it's him or her. So she wants to kill the king or consort of the queen. I'm gonna just call him king. Make it easier in my mind.
Well, technically, I guess he would be, but it would depend on if she gave him the title or not. Um, Especially since he's not of royal blood anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, she wants him dead. She blames him for her life. Whether or not it's fair or not, she wants him dead.
Okay. So you walk across the square past a group of people who are partying like crazy since they graduated.
Esma shakes her head at this, but a very small shake. Nothing too forward, but enough for her to be like, you know.
You know that tomorrow morning is not going to be good for them. Uh, so you head to the the mirrored cobblestone tavern, and it lives up to its name. The building is all cobblestone. It's polished to the point where you can almost see your face in the wall.
Nice.
And that's on the outside of the tavern. Uh, inside it's all polished cherry wood. Yeah, it's like um, almost a guy's ultimate building is nothing but wood and cobblestone and leathers, leather on the leather seats on the chairs. Yeah,
Esma loves the smell of leather.
yeah. And it's fairly busy in here because it's lunch, but you're able to squeeze in and find a table. And this very tired, haggard looking young half elf girl walks over to your table and drops a menu on it and goes, uh, hello, uh, I'm Wanda. I'm your waitress for lunch. Um, can I get you started with a drink?
Esma asks for the best ale that they have.
Okay.
Um, and then she looks at her pleasingly and thinks she's a very pretty elf, but she has no time for foolishness.
Well, and you do notice that she looks like she's been there for several hours. Her hair's all messed up. Uh, there are food spots on her apron. She's really having a rough day because being graduation, the place is busier than it normally is.
Yeah, people don't know how to celebrate, Esma thinks.
And she says she'll be right back with your drink. Uh, menu wise, there's you can get the standard steak or the standard stew, but being an island, most of their menu is seafood
Esma,
because that's the easiest for them to get. So,
Esma asks for some crab because she loves crab.
okay. uh,
She loves
why,
fresh crab and no, nothing else.
Wanda comes back and sets your ale on the table. You tell her you want an entire platter of nothing but crab. And she says, it'll take a few minutes, but we can do that.
Esma says thank you. Because she is polite. She may be an assassin, but she's a polite assassin. And then
Well,
she just stands there watching everyone, making sure, you know, that she's guarded. She doesn't like being out in the open if she can help it.
even assassins have to get along in society.
Yeah,
And the last thing they want to have happen is somebody start to wonder about them.
exactly.
Um, so you spend the next 10-15 minutes um, just watching the people as they come and go. You decide that it's probably better if you wait till after lunch rush to talk to the bartender.
Makes sense.
Because the bar's full and he can barely keep up with all the drink orders right now. But you do notice the people that's sitting around the bar itself are getting drunker and drunker as lunch rush goes by.
She doesn't understand this. She thinks that losing your senses is silly, but she thinks to each their own. And these were her classmates, so she does semi respect them, though she does think that some of them were foolish in their studies and they should have studied more.
Well, yeah. Well, then you naturally think to yourself that there's only maybe you and two other people who got the sort of grades that you got out of your class.
Exactly.
So,
And then Esma's also trying to think of the best way to do this, so she's formulating her plan of how she can assassinate the king without her dying.
um, just as Wanda comes back with your plate of crab, actually roll me a perception check.
All right.
Even though you would probably see this, I want to make sure whether you do or not.
Let's see how perceptive she is. Let's find out. Okay, perception. She's not that perceptive. 11. Maybe she's too
and
much in
that
her thoughts.
and that's with your bonuses,
Yeah,
your wisdom too.
unfortunately.
Uh, you you don't see it or the reason why, but you see after Wanda puts your plate down, she jumps like she was startled. And this brings you out of your mental uh, uh, out of your own mental thoughts. And you see Wanda turn around, and as you look over toward where she's looking, you see somebody at the bar, one of your classmates, who has literally drank so much that he fell off his bar stool. That
Esma
the
chuckles a little bit at this.
the bar stool's in pieces on the floor, and your classmate is, you don't even know if he's conscious. All you know is he's laying on his back on the floor. Um, do you attempt to check it out, or do you just eat your lobster and let it go?
She eats her crab. She lets it go.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, she lets it go because she thinks drunk fools are fools. Even though she has drinking on occasion and maybe drink a little too much, she still doesn't quite see herself, you know. She disassociates all the crazy things she does, and she was, she only looks at what other people do. She figures he'll get up, or other people will help him, but
Oh,
it's not her
and,
problem.
and that does happen. The His buddies on either side of him, after they're done laughing at him, they actually help him up and get him. And the bartender points over to the corner, and one of them grabs a new bar stool to sit him on. The bartender, however, tells them and he won't serve them anymore because he doesn't want somebody dead in his bar.
Death by graduation day.
Welcome back to the premiere episode of Esma's Beginnings Graduation Day here on the Fallen Dragons RPG Twitch channel. Um, for those who didn't hear the beginning during our technical difficulties, um, Esma woke up today in the city of Laren on the island of Onan, where she's been training for the past 2 years to be an assassin. Today is a very special day. This is her graduation day. And as we come back to her character, she is sitting in the mirrored cobblestone inn having crab for lunch and drinking ale and contemplating the assignment she got from her assassination instructor as she was leaving. This assignment entails assassinating the Queen's consort of Esma's own home island.
Emerald Island, for those who want to know.
And this is a person who earlier in Esme's childhood actually tried to kill her. So there's some amount of satisfaction with her getting this particular job.
Just a little bit. Esma's a little bit happy about this. She's been wanting an excuse to kill him.
So as you finish your lobster and drain your tankard of ale, what do you want to do from here?
Esma decides to go talk to the barkeep and see if he knows of any cleric that she might gel with. So she goes to the bar where the bartender is and just stares at him, waiting for him to look at her. Her people skills are not the best, but you know.
Well, he's, as you walk up there, he's um, serving drinks to the other people at the bar. And he notices you at the far end of the bar. The bartender is a full high elf. So his skin color is similar to yours.
A beautiful shade of blue.
He doesn't have the hair, but you know. And he's considerably older than you are. But he walks down to the end of the bar and goes, "What can I get you?"
Ezra's like, I already had my ale, but I'm here for information if you have any for me.
And what would that be?
I'm looking for a cleric, an honest, a trustworthy cleric that would gel with my sensibilities. I'm not looking for a goody two shoes cleric. I'm looking for one that would get down and dirty, but is trustworthy, at least trustworthy to me.
Well, let me think. There is a temple to life and death itself. About 4 blocks to the east of the main square, just outside of what would be considered the downtown district. Because the richer types did not want a death cleric temple in the middle of their downtown district. So you could talk to somebody there and see if there's one of them would be willing to go adventuring with you. I assume this is what you're asking for.
Esma gives a slight nod and says, "Yes, this is perfect. Thank you." And she takes out a gold coin and puts it on the table and pushes it to him. And then she leaves off to go to the temple.
He nods and says thank you as you walk out of the tavern. It Since it's only 4 blocks away, it takes you 5-10 minutes. Um, and you get to a large black building with a large wooden arched doorway that's also black, with a knocker that looks like a skeleton head on it. What what do? You don't see anybody around this building.
Okay. Esma goes and does a quick two tap with the knocker, and then takes a step back just in case something happens.
A few seconds later, a taller than average drow woman dressed in solid black robes with just the barest hint of gold trim opens the door. She says, "Hello, I am Eleanor. How can I be of assistance to you?"
I'm here to find a cleric to help me with our mission of grave importance.
Hmm. She she puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Come in. Um, I will talk to the head priest, the head priestess of our temple, and see if there's anybody who's willing to go out with you.
Esma,
Make make yourself comfortable." And there, as you walk in, what you see is a very large open room with sconces all around it in a circle. All the sconces are lit, but it's still darker than you would assume for a temple. And there's a large, um, looks like overstuffed leather high back chair sitting against the wall, directly below one of the sconces. The odd thing that you notice is there are no windows in here. There's no natural light whatsoever.
okay. Esma goes and walks around the room, hoping to see, you know, if she's while she's waiting. Um, but at the same time, is the woman still touching her, or did she leave? Do you remember?
She left.
Okay, good. Because Esma does not like physical touch, so she didn't like the woman touching her. But she didn't say anything because she knew better than to say anything.
The lady was just ushering you into the building.
Yeah.
Um, so are you looking around enough to need a perception check, or are you just
Yes, she's looking around. She's curious because she's
okay?
never been in a this type of temple. Um, she's not very religious, so you know she hasn't really been to any temple really. So
So give me a perception check to see if you find anything interesting.
a 15, better than last time.
Yeah. Um, as you're looking around, you see various bookshelves in the corners. Um, the the rugs are actually of
Do you want to pause and
real animal.
Mike? Do you want to pause that while you take? Well, I hope you guys are liking it, even with the technical difficulties. I promise it'll get better. Um, yeah. Don't know what else to say about it, but I'm so sorry, and thank you for putting up with everything.
That was my phone, uh, but it's taken care of now. So after you look around, most of the books on the shelf are about li- life, resurrection, death, that sort of thing. Uh, Various gods of death from um, history and other religions. A lot of books on undead because they deal with a lot of undead here. So, um, about that time, the lady comes back, but this time she's accompanied by a drow male in similar robes to hers. Um, he's bald. He's got a slight beard and a mustache. Um, and she motions for him to sit down in a chair across from you. And she says, uh, this is Father Carrick. Um, he is a death cleric, but he's more adept at healing than some of us are. So, if you two get along, I thought he might be a good choice for adventuring.
Esma says thank you, in a settled voice.
Uh,
Um,
and she says, I will leave you two to get acquainted and hopefully it works out. And with that, she turns and retreats deeper into the temple.
Esma looks at him up and down, and then she says, "Hello, I'm Esma."
He says, hello, I'm Carrick. Um, and at this point, describe what Carrick sees when he looks at you.
He sees a young woman, a genasi, um, who's covered in black, um, and is in leather, has blue hair, blue skin. Her hair is like a darker shade of blue. Um, a beautiful young genasi, um, but kind of reserved, doesn't really smile that much. Um, but you know, she's reserved. She's cautious of everyone, but very astute. She pays attention. Unless the dice rolls bad and then she's not perceptive at all.
Depends on how many tankards of ale she's had.
Yes. Or the luck of the dice.
Now, are you wearing armor and do you have your weapons on you? And
She does have daggers and a short bow. Her daggers are put to the side. Um, and she's wearing leather boots, you know. Pretty much what you would think of as an assassin who doesn't look like there is, who tries to look out of place, like in place. So it's not like she's head to toe in armor, but, you know, she tries to be stealthy but at the same time quiet. So she wears clothes that wouldn't make a lot of noise when she needs to. She wears things that doesn't draw much attention to herself. Like she wants you to see her and then forget about her as soon as you see her. So she doesn't do much to play on her looks. In most ways, she downplays her looks so that you don't remember her. But you can see a hint of a very beautiful woman.
and Carrick, Carrick says, if you're an assassin, doesn't the blue hair stand out a bit?
Well, I think that's part of who she is. So I mean, it's naturally blue, a darker
So,
shade of blue.
and
I think it'd stand out more if she dyed it.
possibly, Carrick says, um, my name is Carrick. Um, I'm a death cleric. Um, I'm also a sorcerer, so I have much magic under my control. Um, he stands up, he takes the cleric robe off, which is black with the embarrassed hint of um, gold like the lady you saw earlier. And under the robe, he's wearing studded leather armor. Um, he has a mace. He has a crossbow slung across his back on a leather strap, and he has two daggers on the other side of his belt from the crossbow. Um, as far as what he looks like, he's actually only 5 feet tall. Um, his skin is charcoal gray. Um, his hair is shaved on the sides to where he's bald on the sides. But on the top of his head, his hair is snow white and it's in a braid down in the middle of his back. And he is also the quiet type. He does, as he is a death cleric, he's not real cheerful and happy most of the time. So with that, he moves the robe over to one arm of the chair and sits back down.
So Esma looks at him and says, I'm looking for someone, possibly you, to go on a mission of grave importance. Um, it would be dangerous. We would need, I would need your skills. Is this something you'd be interested in?
Well, um, I am getting a bit restless around here. Um, what is the mission that we would be going on?
Esma gives us a slight smile and says, um, I can't give you all the details until I know that you are for the mission. All I can tell you is it's extremely dangerous and that it would involve death.
Oh, I deal with death on a daily basis. Um, does it pay well by chance?
I will split you half of everything that I get from it.
Okay.
But it is, as I assume, will be worth a lot of money. I didn't ask exactly about the payment, but it should be worth a tidy sum.
And I assume we get to keep what we find along the way, if anything.
I would expect so, because I'm going to keep whatever we find along the way.
Hmm. I would expect an assassin type to do that. Do you know where we are going?
Yes, we're going to the Emerald Isles.
Um, and for those who don't know where that is, uh, it is on an island that is on the other side of the second continent in this world. The island that um, the two of them are now on is the is an island just off Gelborn. And if you go east of there, you run into the continent of Jerison that has three more kingdoms in it. And then east of Jerison continent is the island that Esme needs to go to. If you want a general idea of size, it's about the size of New Zealand off of Australia. So,
And it's a pretty wealthy seafaring kingdom.
and so it will take some days of travel to get there. But Carrick thinks for a second, rubs his beard a bit, and um, and says, "Sounds like an interesting adventure. I hope there's enough death for me to deal with.
I hope so too. I love death.
It is what I was born to do,
Me too. I think we'll
and
do well together.
we probably will, as long as we agree not to kill each other, but anybody else we may have to."
As long as you don't double cross me, I promise I will not try to kill you, and vice versa.
I have no reason at this point to do so.
Esma um, doesn't want to, but she knows it's the nicety, and so she lifts up her hand to give him a shake, and to, in agreement for the job.
He takes her hand, shakes it, and you notice his touch is slightly cold. Colder colder than your average human.
Esma thinks he's attractive, but she doesn't deal with that nonsense. Although she does think he is a good-looking guy, a little shorter than she is, but good-looking. She's 5'3".
Uh, he would be actually considerably older than you are.
Probably.
He, you, you're 18, he's 238.
Oh yeah,
So
he's a little bit older than her.
he's a tad older than you.
Just a little.
Uh, but for a drow or an elf, 238's not that old. But he would still, I would say he'd be considered in his mid 30s for a regular he, humanoid type. So, um, when do you wish to leave on this adventure?
As soon as possible. It's of grave importance.
Do you have everything you need?
I do. Or if we don't, we'll get it as we go.
So he, he says, "Excuse me for a couple of minutes. I will go pack up my bag and have everything I need."
Esma smiles slightly and says, "Deal."
So with that, he gets up, uh, walks out of the room, and probably 15 minutes later comes back in the room with a larger than normal adventurer's pack because he's got extra extra robes and such. So and
Sorry about that. He's found possums like last night, and now he wants to play with the possums. By play,
oh great.
I mean kill.
Yeah, I was gonna say him playing with them didn't end well last night. So
Yeah.
or
So I had to take care of
Sunday
it.
night, or
Yeah, I had to take care of it before he continues barking, and I don't want to keep on hearing it. Sorry about that.
yeah. Um.
I'll put a muzzle
So
on him next time.
you do that, and I'll remember to mute my phone. But um, Kara comes back in with an extra large size adventuring pack because he has robes that he brought with him. So uh, he had to get a bigger pack to fit all the stuff he needed. And with that, he turns to you and says, I'm ready to go when you are.
Esma's like, I'm ready to go.
Um, do you have things in your room that you need to collect, or are you carrying everything now, or what?
I would think Esma carries everything with her. She's always ready to go. Um, but I mean, yeah, I imagine she carried everything with her to go there. She doesn't carry enough to. She only carries her the bare necessities. So I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she has anything in
Um,
there.
by now, I would say it's probably 2 in the afternoon or so. Um,
I
you
met.
could easily you could easily head down to the docks and possibly catch a ship today.
I think that's what Esma wants to do. She pretty much has been planning this moment, you know, this assassination all all her life. So she wants to do this. Um, she's a little too overexcited, but she's trying to stay calm. But she's excited to do this mission and to prove herself and to get rid of the man who she views ruined her life.
So the two of you leave the temple. Actually, before Carrick leaves, he talks to the head of the temple and says goodbye to his friends and uh, lets them know that he, he will be gone for an extended period of time. Um, then he meets back up with you, and the two of you walk out of the temple and head toward the dock district. Are the two of you talking while you're walking, or
Esma doesn't
are you
really
just being
Esma doesn't really talk, so unless Carrick talks, it's probably going to be silence.
um Carrick has some questions, but he decides that once they're on the boat, it'll be a better time to talk than walking around out in the general public.
Yes, Esma probably wouldn't answer any questions out in public anyway. She doesn't share things in public.
Mm. So after a good 15-20 minutes, you hit the edge of the dock district and you see two ships um, anchored in the harbor. They're both fairly large galleons. One actually has uh, can its its cannon showing um, I I took you might be able to mute notifications unless you go in and specifically turn them off. Um, but
I can show you how to do that after the game.
yeah. Oh, I can go into my settings and find notifications and turn them off.
Yeah.
But I didn't think you had to. I thought you could just turn the volume down, but apparently not. Uh,
No worries.
so as you walk up to the edge of the harbor, the ship that has their cannons um, loading actually has military people on it. So that might not be a ship you want to take.
Oh no, Esma doesn't trust the military or anything like that.
And
Uh,
you
oh, hold
have
on
no idea.
1 second. Something happened. Let me fix something. I mean, we're still good, but I think something happened on the Zoom end. So we can still talk while I fix it.
You think that that might be a more dangerous trip than what you're already going to take, and you have no idea where it's going. So,
Makes sense. Um, and Esma doesn't trust military if she can help it. But Esma doesn't trust much things.
and so, so you walk over to the uh, the other ship, and it says the Jolly Ogre on the end of the ship, and it has what looks like an ogre with a pirate hat on it,
Mm-hmm.
picture wise. Um, and there is an orc in a captain's outfit standing on the edge of the ramp to go up ship. He sees you guys slowly coming over and says, "Hey there, are you headed for my ship?"
Esma says yes. Yes, maybe. Um, where are you guys heading?
Um, well, I know we're heading to our first stop is gonna be Oma on the tip of Jerison. Uh, and if there's anybody going further than that, They just need to let us know.
We're heading towards the Emerald Isles, so if you're heading in that direction, we would be interested in booking passage.
Yeah, that's around the tip of Oman and further east. We can do that. Um, Passage is 20 gold each.
Esma says deal, and then she takes out money to get to him.
Okay.
She doesn't think about
Excuse me.
bargaining. She's just all about let's do the transaction, let's go.
Yeah. So, so you hand him 40 gold and says, "You're the only uh, passengers for now. We might pick up a few along the way because we, especially in Oman when we go into port there, um, to get to the Emerald Isle will probably take a good 3 days travel, and that's if the weather is favorable."
Above game, I know when I play
Um,
with you, Mike, it's never gonna be favorable. But Esma says deal.
well, above game, I hate to have boring ship travel
Yes, I
because
remember.
3 days of doing nothing is just, unless unless you just skip it all together and
Yeah.
say that you're wherever you're gonna go. So,
Honestly, Esma, above game,
um,
whenever I know there's a ship travel, I'm like, oh, okay, what is Mike gonna do to now?
hmm, darn, I'm gaining a reputation. Crap. No.
Gaining, you've had the reputation.
Well, for those of you who haven't um, actually, I guess we haven't even had a ship voyage on Sunday yet. I do not like boring ship travel. If you take one of my ships, something will happen to you before you get to where you're going. So
Usually not good. Usually
I'm
not
not
good.
I'm not saying what that might be, but I will guarantee something will happen. Um, Gotta give the characters combat practice. So, but the two of you board ship, um, the first mate ushers you to the the two larger cabins toward the back of the ship. That's the advantage of boarding before everybody else, is that you get the two best rooms on the ship. Uh, Other than the captain's quarters, of course.
Of course.
So, um, and the first mate says, since you're the only guest, you can pretty much do as you wish. Um, dinner is generally right before sundown.
Esma waits until he leaves and then turns to Carrick and says, "You have any questions? I can sense you have questions you want answered."
I, in fact, do have questions. What does this mission consist of?
There is this tiresome man that we are paid to kill. Um,
Okay.
and I personally want him dead also, so it's tied.
Uh,
Um,
and if you don't mind me asking, why do you want this man dead?
it's either him or me.
You've had contact with him in the past, have you?
Not since I was a little girl, pretty much a baby.
And what are the complicating factors here?
Esma thinks about it and she decides that it's better he knows now because they're on a ship together. So right now he really can't escape and he can get a level head. And she figured he's a death cleric, so he's okay with death. Um, and he'll know that the bounty is worthwhile. So she decides to tell him that she's on a mission to kill the queen's consort of the Emerald Isles, and that um, he is worth killing. And then she gives a wicked smile um, and a little bit of an evil laugh.
So, you want to go to an island, kill the queen's consorts, and you expect to be able to get back off the island before anything else happens?
Esma gives a slight smile and she says, "I have an ace up my sleeve. Yes, I believe we can do it, or I would not have taken the mission. I've been training all my life for this."
Hmm. I wouldn't be getting into family squabbles now, would I?
He is of no relation to me, but we do have some family ties, but we do not claim each other.
Okay. Do you know if this man is even there? If we travel for 3 days to this island and he's not there,
I have
what?
good authority that he is there. Excuse me. I have good authority that he is there, or and I do try to keep tabs on him. If he does leave, since we've left, we may miss him, but I'm pretty sure we will find him. If not, we'll find out where to go next.
Okay.
This is the best lead.
Ah, okay. And do you have any idea, other than your personal feelings for this man, why the person who gave you the assignment wants this man dead?
Esma shrugs and says no, but I imagine
Hmm,
this man has a lot of enemies. He made one of me, so I imagine he has many.
that's very true, probably. It's just that I like to know what I'm getting into before I go off trying to kill somebody.
You're getting into an adventure. You're getting into possibly good money, and it'll be fun. At least it will be for me. And then she gives the biggest smile she's ever given, probably in her adult life, and a twinkle is in her eye.
Mm.
Excitement shows, even though she's trying not to hide it.
No, Carrick says death is always fun from my point of view,
Mine too.
but I just don't want to end up in a cell in a dungeon somewhere.
I have a plan, and I have an ace in my sleeve. I've been saving it all my life, so I think we are good.
Okay. Well, for now, that's all the information I need.
And if not, we'll die laughing or die having fun.
Well, I guess it's better than dying while not having fun,
Very true.
but it also depends on your idea of fun.
Esma always has fun.
Um, we can see how many people we can end up uh, sending to their God, whatever God they happen to believe in.
I imagine before it's through, we'll see many. We'll send many off to their maker.
I do like a decent body count in combat.
And who knows? After we do this mission, maybe we like killing together and have many more missions.
One never knows.
One never does.
It's been rather boring in the temple for the last few years. Um, Chance to get out and adventure around sounds pretty good, and amassing a tad bit of coin is never a bad thing.
Yes.
So,
Hey Mike, just as a suggestion, I'd move more to the right. You're really leaning away from the
move.
camera. Or move towards your couch. Because you're
Oh,
leaning really
okay.
off screen.
Okay, so to my left,
Yes. To my
if
right.
I'm
Yes.
okay.
Just a suggestion.
Okay. Um, he says, "Is this your first mission, or have you been adventuring before, or
Um, I just got
what?"
out of, to be honest, I just got out of school.
Uh,
This is going to be my first mission, but I've been training um, how to be an assassin all my life. Although it may be short compared to yours.
well, that is both the advantage and drawback of being an elf. Because living 600 years could get tedious at times.
I can imagine. My life will probably be short the way I live my life, but it will be worth it and enjoyable.
That is what counts in life. Duration, not so much. It's,
Exactly.
it's more about what you do while you are alive.
So true.
Yeah. That's why I've always been sort of confused by dwarves. They live hundreds of years, and their favorite thing is playing with stone. It's like carving on rocks for hundreds of years. I'm like, nah, not really.
If stone gives them happiness, more power to them.
Well, I would say they build nice buildings. But
And they make good ale.
this is true. Now, if you could spend 600 years brewing alcohol, that'd be a whole other thing. But
Can you imagine if you make it and you drink it 600 years later? How good that would be.
if it wasn't, if it didn't go bad, that'd be the nicest aged ale you ever got a hold of.
So true.
I would not, however, want to see how much the dwarves would charge you for such a thing. That'd be
Probably
a
the most expensive ale you'll ever have in your life.
that'd be a king's ransom for a barrel of it.
Yeah. Esma says, well, I don't really drink, but if I did, I drink a little, but I'm not a glutton for alcohol.
Well,
Many people's downfall.
yeah,
Easier to slit your throat if you drink too much.
yeah. Uh, Not paying attention can cost you your life fairly easily.
Very true.
You'd be surprised how many ceremonies I've done over people who have died for the one main reason of they weren't paying attention when they should have been. So,
Very true, very true.
so I take it my main job
Is to keep me alive
is
so
to
I can
keep you
fulfill
alive.
and possibly kill people if you that's your thing.
I never pass up an opportunity for that. Um, so I will clear the way for you and keep you alive.
Esma says, sounds good. And then she says, if that is all, I would like to eat and rest and prepare myself for this mission.
Well, dinner should be soon, I would expect.
Yes.
And he just sits down on his bunk and sort of starts meditating, waiting for dinner to be done, to be served.
Hey Mike, it's almost 10. Did you want to continue on or did you want to stop?
Um, Actually, this is a good place to stop.
Okay.
I was I was thinking about going a half an hour longer since
I'm good
we
either.
were.
I'm good either way, but I also think it's a weeknight.
You do have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
um. So yeah, we'll end game here. Uh, we'll start up next week with more of the sea voyage, and hopefully you will get to the Emerald Isles alive by the end of next week.
Hopefully. that would that would really suck for Fallen Dragons if Esma dies.
Yeah,
was my only worry about doing this. Was I was like, I love her backstory, but if she dies,
Yeah, yeah. If she dies in this, because the timeline's
the
couple of
country,
couple of years ahead behind.
yeah,
So so if you die in this, she vanishes in the Sunday game and was
continuity error. I hate those.
and was never alive to begin with.
Oh, I would love that, by the way. But yes, that would be horrible. Um, but anyway,
But
I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who stayed with us with all the technical difficulties. It shouldn't be that bad from now on. I'm going to really work on it, and I'll muzzle my dog. Or I'll give
and
him
I
treats so he'll be quiet.
and I will shut off the text notifications on my phone
Yeah,
because
I'll show you how to do
that's
that.
that's annoying even for me, much less the rest of you. Um,
We are still a very young stream, so we're still learning all the technical things. So bear with us. We will get better. We will start to give you a really good game without all the technical issues.
and hopefully, um, since we are new, you give us a follow on Twitch. Um, if you'd rather watch it on YouTube, our back videos are on YouTube. You can give us a subscribe over there. Um,
We're working hard
we
to give. Oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
we even have podcasts. Uh, if you go to anchor.com, you can find our podcast. That way you can listen to it while you're driving or what in class, in some boring class somewhere.
Hey,
You'd
school's
rather listen.
fun.
You'd rather listen to us, but uh,
As someone who's
so
taking 18 units this semester, school's fun. When you don't want to kill yourself.
uh, I knew your character was crazy for some reason.
Why is my character always crazy? It's because of me. Um,
So
but we'll show a little, after this. We'll give you guys a little thing where you can find us, and also a preview of next week's game. This Sunday's game.
Sunday's game.
Yes. Um,
Did, did I forget anything?
Not that I can think of. If we did, we both forgot it. But
Yeah.
I've been up for almost 12 hours, so we'll see. I mean, not 12 hours, but almost 24 hours. So I only
So
slept for 2 hours last night. So
yikes.
hey,
Um,
that's school.
but once again, thank you guys for watching. Um, give us subscribes and follows and help the channel grow. And the more we grow, the more content we'll give you. So,
Well, I imagine no matter what, we'll give you guys content, but then it'll be easier to find us because we'll have more access to give you guys more stuff.
so we we will see you guys on Sunday and for the main Fallen Dragons game. And I hope you guys have a good week until Sunday.
Yes. Have a good evening, you guys. Please stay for a little bit longer while we just give you a little information about us and the preview for the next game. Thank you guys all.
Good night.
Good night.